The portrait was moved back, not announced, not explained, simply repositioned. Returned to the private audience chambers where it had hung before Camilla's influence began reaching into every corner of palace protocol. It is the portrait of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, the woman who famously and firmly refused to allow Camilla Parker Bowles anywhere near the inner sanctum of this family. To most people who glanced at the room, it meant nothing. To the women who understand how this institution actually works, it was a verdict. If you have been watching Catherine's journey alongside this channel, you already know that the quiet gestures are the ones that carry the real weight. Stay with us. This is exactly the kind of moment we exist to notice together. For 30 years, Camilla ran a masterclass in patience. She absorbed the public grief, survived the outrage, and positioned herself so precisely beside Charles that by the time Queen Elizabeth passed, she believed the transformation was complete. Not merely the king's wife, but the singular force behind him, the woman whose social calendar could redirect the machinery of the monarchy itself. What she had not accounted for is what the bloodline was quietly building in the background. And who was building it? Early June 2026. Peter Phillips, Princess Anne's son, is marrying Harriet Sperling in a private ceremony at All Saints Church in Gloucestershire. This is the kind of gathering the senior Windsors take seriously. No spectacle, no televised pageantry, just the true inner core of the family together. Catherine and William are attending, a composed, unified presence. On the very same day, the prestigious Betfred Derby is running at Epsom Downs, and Camilla, who had recently secured the role of joint patron of the Jockey Club, a position the late Queen Elizabeth held with fierce pride for 68 years. Saw what she believed was a perfect stage. The plan was arranged. Charles and Camilla would attend the ceremony, then depart before the family reception, travel 90 miles to Surrey, and take their places in the royal box at Epsom, draped in Elizabeth's equestrian legacy. It was deliberate. It was calculated. It was designed to tell Princess Anne, in the clearest institutional language, that the crown now moves on Camilla's timeline. And it was designed to ensure the world saw that image, Camilla standing triumphant at Epsom, while Catherine and William watched from a wedding reception she had chosen to abandon. Here is what Camilla had failed to understand. Because Peter Phillips holds no royal title, his wedding fell entirely within the logistical control of Princess Anne, not Buckingham Palace's public-facing offices. And when Camilla's team submitted their request for a grand, photographed exit from the church, the king and queen sweeping down the main steps before a watching press pack before heading to the Derby, the response came back through Princess Anne's office. Denied. Private family security protocols. Any guest departing before the official reception commenced was required to use the secure side exit at the rear of the estate. Unphotographed, unannounced, out the back door like a member of staff at the end of a long shift. I'll be honest, when I read about that moment, I felt something settle. The way things settle when something that has been wrong is finally corrected. Camilla looked at the security document and grasped the full weight of what it meant. If she still wanted Epsom, she would not arrive as a triumphant queen directing the institution's calendar. She would be walked out through a side entrance, invisible to the global press, while Catherine and William stood at the living heart of the family celebration, front and center, surrounded by the bloodline that actually owns this institution. William had quietly aligned with Anne well in advance of any itinerary briefing, leveraging the full institutional authority of the Duchy of Cornwall, the financial engine of the future monarchy, to reinforce Anne's control over what was, legally and logistically, a private family event. The trap had been in place long before Camilla realized she was standing in it. She turned to Charles. For 3 decades, he had been her absolute shield, the man willing to fracture his own family, to endure public fury, to ensure her place at his side. But this time, as she looked at him across the room and the silence stretched, he did not look up. No call to his sister, no sovereign override, Just the quiet of a man who, facing his own profound vulnerabilities and the weight of a reign now fully upon him, chose the institution over the social calendar of his wife. He understood something Camilla had never fully grasped. The crown belongs to the future, and the future was standing calmly at the reception she had chosen to leave. What followed in the days surrounding this moment were small, forensic corrections. In palace registries, the prominence of Camilla's personal staff began quietly to recede. And that portrait, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who opposed Camilla's place in this family with everything she had, returned to its position in the private audience chambers. These are not decorative decisions. In the coded language of the British High Court, they are institutional sentences. They announce, to anyone who knows how to read them, which values this monarchy is returning to. The standard of uncomplaining sacrifice. The dignity of a future queen who walked through illness and returned not diminished, but clarified. The architecture of the next reign, which Catherine is not simply adjacent to, she is its foundation. The question for the comments this week is this: do you believe Camilla's power inside the palace is genuinely finished? Or does she still have one move left that no one is seeing yet? Come back and tell us. We will be watching either way.